Hi, Mirek. We recently did some rock climbing as part of team building exercise. It was really, really good fun, but also quite challenging. And to me, it appeared that there were a lot of things in common with achieving objectives in the enterprise. There are clear objectives, there are KPIs, but also we were sort of fumbling and feeling our way up the mountain, so to speak. It wasn't quite clear what route we should take. And sometimes it feels like that in the enterprise, doesn't it? With processes that are clearly not achieving the best, not delivering the best, but people don't necessarily know how to fix them.
It's amazing metaphor and affinity to what we do daily in our business. In KYP, we tend to support also this angle of having the hardware, which for climbing is the key for our safety, for performance, and to give the happiness and enthusiasm. Yes, indeed, it was an amazing experience reaching the summit, being on the top, and finally be on the ground to take the deep breath and say, I'm safe again. Then result achieved, and that's the biggest satisfaction. That's why we think to cover this, our productivity 360 loop with a technology angle is the key story. Then we have a functionality which is called Tech Pulse, and this in the sense of metaphor represents the rope, all of the equipment which you need to climb. Why? It gives you the ability to say, yep, I can do what I can physically the best with all of the things, good shoes, the hat, the sunscreen, or whatever you need to climb safe and performant. But also from the other angle, gives you credibility and assurance that you're not going to be misled, in this case, maybe die because something went wrong with your software or hardware. In the climbing, it's just the hardware. For IT world, we think that hardware and software takes the core play in delivering the good results.
Absolutely. And that's a really good point. The tools are so important. And of course, it's not just about having them, it's about looking after them as well and choosing the best, isn't it? So the Tech Pulse also enables that, doesn't it? It shows where maybe things have got a bit old and needing replacement. Maybe the performance isn't up to scratch.
Brilliant thing about the performance with old hardware, maybe not maintained well, maybe with some upgrades in the plan or needed, represents how fast you can climb. Let's say modern rope with some fiber or other stuff in it allows you to go faster, more smooth, still safe, and probably carry on less kilograms on the top. Hardware in the IT world is about the same. If your laptop, your network, your disk is fast enough to give you the ability to run certain functional CRM or maybe the email client fast enough, send this email in the seconds and get the reply back, or maybe have a satisfied customer on the end, that's the core contribution. You can recognize on the way. Sometimes you know it in advance. It's not going to be easy. The key thing is to know it on time with some time progress and verification while you are climbing, while you are doing the stuff at your daily job. If you reach the 10 meters above the ground and you just recognize some metal is not the good shape, needs replacement, of course you won't do that in the fly. But the fact that you're measuring that, you're noting that in IT is also a key. And often we are not realizing how much the IT, the hardware, the software contributes to our daily performance. If I need to send 20 emails, I need to wait 5 minutes to send each, or maybe I need to register some customer in the CRM system and I need to wait even 60 seconds to save the button. I'm after a year or after a day used to do that minute, nothing wrong. That's typical. But on the end, when I do it 20 times per day, I'm losing 20 minutes on this activity. And if my hardware could be better, if I could just climb or deliver the technical or functional outcomes of my business, daily business, immediately, that would be the gain for me. I would be less nervous, less stressed, happy to plan my day even better, happy to plan my climbing even faster, and spend more time on the summit. The same with business. I did my job, my customers, my stakeholders are happy. Then I don't have to care too much. In the meantime, yeah, again, it's giving me time out, it's giving me wait times.
Yes, so you described the sort of user experience brilliantly there, the fact that they might have to wait many, many minutes and it all adds up and reduces their productivity. But there's also sort of immediate feedback, isn't there? In climbing, we could feel, before we took a step, we could feel whether that foothold was going to bear our weight and where we were putting our hands, whether, there was sufficient grip, for example. So the their user experience in IT is one thing, but also the effect on the customer, somebody waiting on a phone call, waiting to hear about some, the answer to some question that they might have.
Yep, I experienced that myself, even calling the support desk of the airlines. Yep, my flight was disrupted by weather, by other conditions. Can you offer me something? And of course, on the second side of the phone line, there is a person who tries to help me, checks one system, another. If this system gives immediate feedback, immediate response, like with the climbing, you have a good grip, good fit in the hole, then yep, I can go and jump one step farther. Here, waiting 20 minutes and agent says, be patient, I'm checking, I can give you the answer. Doesn't help. I'm then more stressed, more nervous. Probably I won't be on time because the layover will be extended. Here, the same thing. It always, on the end, influence someone's activity, someone's life, someone's time, someone's satisfaction. It's not in the emptiness when the system or hardware doesn't offer you this reliability or the assurance that I do right, the feedback is given immediately. If not, it's also a feedback. No feedback means no system response. It's also a response. I'm then start to be uncertain what's gonna happen next. Maybe the booking change, is it applied or not? Can I go to the gate and board the plane, or maybe not? They need to retry. Probably most of you had the situation when you were uncertain. Can I do certain thing? Let's say go to the bank. Is it the money transfer or not? There was an error. Have I paid for the goods which I ordered through the internet? I don't know, was an error, delay, or maybe even no feedback because the page was frozen 3 hours and nothing. Then you do certain efforts to be sure that it's going to be fine or not. That give you even more stress, more uncertainty. With IT, it's the same story like with climbing. You have an immediate feedback or not. Sometimes you climb on the summit, you just recognize that your rope is not in the good shape. And what then? The feedback wasn't given immediately, but there is a high risk that going down, you will get the immediate feedback. And the same here. You go to the gate, denied to board because the transaction or the change wasn't applied in reality.
Yes. And all the while, the staff behind the scenes are scrambling to get things done and they are feeling frustrated because they can't. So feedback goes in many different directions, and finally, it was really about the training. We all received some training before we climbed, and it was more than that. I found particularly the second climb, where it was a much tougher climb, I found the fact that people had gone before me and they'd left chalk marks, on the rock, and it showed me the safe way to go up because other people had already been. And that sort of gave me a bit of guidance, a bit of reassurance. In the world of the enterprise, there is some ambiguity always, isn't there, in cases that are a bit complicated. Training is often done once and then never redone. What about sort of helping employees in particular, maybe with some online help, etc.?
There are two faults here. One is that we are combining with TechPulse the hardware software performance with your process timeline, with your process steps. And like you mentioned, the tick marks or check marks on the rock, here you have the same footprint. You may follow someone's steps, someone's recommendations, someone's way of doing certain things. You may, of course, observe, let's say, some people with a bad performance of the system. They are opening 5 windows at a time and so on. It's not the hint for the good performance. It's not also the hint how you should do the thing, but it's kind of training, refinement training, how you could do the things better. That having the one dashboard with hardware, software performance, and the process gives you the full picture, what you could do to be really perfect in delivering the results and satisfied in the same time. But going further, it also affects the immediate feedback to the employee and to the support teams. What can I do for you? What can I do if something goes wrong? When you climb the top, the peak, and you just recognize that your hardware is stuck and you can't go down, you scream, you cry, you are afraid, depends on the mood. Still, it's something wrong and you need immediate support. The feedback with an IT, it's the same story. Your system doesn't answer 5th time, 10 times in a row. Maybe the response time is 3 minutes. Some people will still say, it's okay, why you complain? Yeah, but I have 100 invoices to be submitted. With that, it's gonna take my 300 minutes. That means I will go after my working time, maybe my private time, maybe I should spend the time in the night. And this feedback doesn't have to be, thanks to the TechPulse, given manually by calling the support desk, like screaming to the people on the ground. The voice may reach them immediately. With the IT, you call the support desk, you spend precious minutes explaining the thing, collecting the evidence, and the help may be immediate, maybe will come in 3 days because they need to analyze deeper. With KYP TechPulse, we are allowing to collect all of the evidences much quicker, I would say immediately, because it's continuous data collection, and give the ability to the support people, to the people who wish to help you on the IT side, immediately looking on the evidences. That there's a concrete discussion, like with your flight disruption, like with your climbing. Yeah, I see on my phone screen, because let's say there's a camera on the peak, what's happening with your hardware. Yeah, it's locked. I'm gonna climb next to you and fix it, or maybe I will give you the backup rope to go down. On the end, the same function, different approach. Due to the TechPulse, you can benefit with immediate support, or at least the capability to support you on the road.
Absolutely. This has been a really interesting discussion, Mirek. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Sarah.